Okay, welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover the interface of Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to create a new document, how to open a document that you have already worked on, and we're really just going to cover the way that Photoshop is laid out. And this is going to be good because if you ever start learning other Adobe products, like for example, InDesign, Premiere Pro, Animate, Illustrator, these are all set up pretty similarly. So knowing the layout of these programs is pretty important if you're planning on using the Creative Cloud. Now, just to keep in mind, I do teach another class on Illustrator, and you can find it on my blog. I'll have the link in the description. Check it out. I teach a ton of good things on vector and raster graphics, so please check it out. Feel free to subscribe, and let's get going. So, first things first, when you open Photoshop, this is what you will see, except for that if you are opening it for the first time, you're not going to see any of these pictures. These are the most recent pictures that I have been working on, okay? And just so that we can cover this, there's two different views of this. There's the thumbnail view, and then there's a list view. Either one is fine. I do this one so I can see. I do better when I can see what projects I have been working on, but yes, right over here is the thumbnail and list views, okay? As well, we have this sort button. We can sort based on name, last open, size, and the kind, okay? So that's about all there is to know about the recent work that we've been working on. And for you guys, you probably won't have that quite yet, especially if you're a beginner and this is your first time using it, okay? So in this opening screen, we have really just two options. We can create a new document, or we can open an image. Okay, and let me just explain the difference. Creating a new document, we're going to have the opportunity to open a blank workspace. Okay, we can also open what's called an artboard. And I will explain to you what an artboard is in other videos, but you have right here the opportunity to create a new workspace. Okay, the open button, if we click open, it will take us to we'll be able to browse our files, pick an image. For example, I can go to photos, pick this Fox image, and it will open it in Photoshop. Okay, so we'll just do that real quick. See, now we're open. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this. Creating a new document. Now, this is important. So what we have when we click on create new, it will open this new document page, okay? And what we can do here is Adobe has created some of these tabs up here to make it easy for us. So we can think to ourselves, okay, what are we trying to do? Are we going to want a print? Are we doing photos, art and illustration? Is this going on the web? Is this for a mobile app or development? Are we doing film, video? And decide and ask yourself, what are we using this for? You know, for this case, let's say we're going to do art and illustration. No, let's change that. Let's do the web. What it will do is it will guess which presets you want in these little tiles right here. Basically, Adobe has said, okay, well, these are the most common layouts for the web. You can click on one of these and we'll open it for you. And that's what these tiles are, okay? Down here, we have templates, and there are literally, there are so many templates. You can search them. You can find templates in Adobe Stock if you have a membership with Adobe Stock. Click this button to see more presets. But that's basically what Adobe has done for you. If none of these are going to work for you, then you can come over here, and this is oftentimes what I end up doing. Okay, we can name our document here. Let's just call this one, I'll call this one the Pixel pirate. Okay. And this is where we can mess with our width and height. Okay. So just so that we keep things straight together, this drop down is where we can change from pixels to inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas. Okay. When I work in raster graphics, I will generally do pixels or inches. And if I'm going to get something printed out, I'm going to probably be working in inches, but if not, I'm usually working pixels. So let's just do 1000, okay, by 1000. All right, now let's say this was 500. Whoops. Say this was 500. Now, we have a width of 1000, height of 500. Our orientation is going to be landscape. We can toggle between these, and if you notice, if we click on portrait, it will switch our numbers. You see that? It'll do it for us. So you just kind of decide what you want, and it will do that for you if you want to switch. We'll leave it at, like I said, at 1000 pixels. Resolution. Now we'll dive into resolution a little bit further in later videos, more advanced videos, but just to give a quick overview, resolution is really going to depend on what we're doing with it. For this demonstration, we'll leave it at 72, which is a pretty common default. It will always be the default when you come to this page. Pixels per inch, so 72 pixels per inch. This is where we can change our color. And so let's just leave it at this and create the new document. Okay, so it's pretty simple. We create a new document and this is what it looks like. Now to go into the interface of Photoshop. Okay, so it's set up actually pretty simple. Let's take a look at this side over here, okay? Over here we have what are called panels, okay? And panels are where we can make changes to our properties. We can make adjustments. We can access our libraries, our Creative Cloud libraries. This is where our layers, channels, and paths are. And I will teach you what all of these mean as we go throughout this course. But just keep in mind that this side over here, this right side, is where we have our panels. Now, panels, Photoshop has made it so easy to be able to make adjustments. So, for example, here's my properties panel. I can pull it off and I can move it wherever I want. I can put it up here with my colors and swatches, or I can move it back to where it was. You can adjust and make this whatever you want just by clicking and dragging. I can take my properties over into this sidebar right here and put it right there. I really can do whatever I want to get the layout just how I want it to be. Okay. If we come up to window, okay, this bar up here is our menu bar, and this is where we have every single option in Photoshop is right up here. Okay, every single setting, option, whatever it is, it's up here in this menu bar. Okay, if we come here to window, this is where all of the panels are. Okay, and you need to remember this. Window, this is where all of our panels are. So for example, one panel that's not showing up over here is my character panel. Character panel is how I control my text. This is where I control my text size. This is where I control the color, the spacing, the font. Everything that has to do with text is going to be in this panel. And like I said, you can click and drag that off. You can expand it. You can do whatever you want with it, but it'll just be right here. So that is how panels work. We can put panels. We don't even necessarily have to put it into a tab. We can put it right above. You see that blue line? That means that it's now going to be its own little folder area. Okay, I'm going to move it back. I really only recommend having 3 over here. So 3, and then have 3 of these panels with different tabs. I don't recommend doing more than 3. So we can see we have 1, 2, 3. And I like to keep them pretty organized with our layers, channels, and paths, adjustments, properties. Anything else I would put over here on this little bar just for the space, keeping space in mind, okay? So that is where panels are. That is how they work. Questions that you have on that, go ahead and throw in the comments. All right. So up here we have another set of tabs, and let me just show you how this will normally work. If we go to File and Open, I'm going to open this Fox picture. Okay, so now I have this Fox picture open, and you can see this is the tab for the Fox picture. If I want to go back, I just click on this one, and I get back to my to the artboard and workspace. And I can toggle between those, and I can have multiple projects open at the same time. Okay. Up here we have a properties bar, and you know, this bar and these tools go very, very closely together, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at these tools for a second. So this is our toolbar. And just like the panels, it can be clicked and dragged away, and then it can be moved back very easily. But just to be able to show you guys, I want to bring it over here for a sec. So these are our tools, and these are the tools that we can do lots of different things in Photoshop. We can select certain parts, we can move pieces and layers, we can darken, lighten, control gradients. That's all right here, okay? And so let's explore a little bit what these tools can do for us, okay? So the tools and the properties go very closely together. As we, I want you to take a look up here at this properties bar, because as we select a tool, you can notice that the tool is also up here. So this is the move tool, and it is up here. Now, when we switch to, let's say, the lasso tool is up here, and so is a different selection of properties, okay? And that is the way it is for every single tool. This bar will change depending on the tool you have selected. And that's really important to keep in mind, and it's a really cool thing that Photoshop does is it's the we can change, it changes with what you're trying to do. Let's take a look at this is the crop tool. So we can set our settings for our cropping up here. And when we go into tools in more detail, I'll also show you the properties that go along with it. Okay, and also pay attention as we go throughout this course. We'll be covering all the properties, all the tools, and be using them in projects. Okay, so get excited about that. Really, that is the interface of Photoshop. There's the 4 pieces to remember. We have the tools, properties, menu bar, and our panels over here. Okay, like I said, if you have questions, just drop them in the comments, and we'll get them answered. Okay, so let's come back to our next video. We'll be talking about the tools.